Michael, I can't believe this is a thing, dude. Avowed is targeting 30 frames per second.
What?
Says Obsidian, dude.
What?
Hey man, I'm just telling you what I'm reading here, right? Jordan Miller over at BGC, speaking on the Iron Lords podcast, Art Director Matt Hansen called 30 frames per second the bare minimum the team is aiming for. Okay. Quote, it's a first-person, single-player game. You don't necessarily need that 60 frames, and that allows us to get a lot juicier with the VFX and lighting and all that other stuff. End quote. Hansen said. He continued on though, quote, it's a trade-off we opt to make relatively early, and we're really happy with that. The game is running pretty smooth for how visually dense it is, and that was always our goal. End quote. Originally scheduled for later this year, Avowed. Michael, you're getting heated up here, buddy. I like it. We'll get into it here. Avowed will now be released in 2025. Xbox had planned a 2024 release for the game, with a blog post by developer Obsidian seemingly accidentally confirming a November 12th release before it was removed. I think it should have launched then. Yeah. However, a message posted by the official Xbox account on Twitter has confirmed that the game got delayed until February 18th, 2025. The game's director, Kerry Patel, recently claimed that the game has more than 10 endings. They also added, quote, I can tell you our ending slides number in the double digits, which we talked about this on a previous thing. Michael, the biggest conversation piece right now is how the heck is this not 60 frames a second in this day and age?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, maybe a little clickbait, right? They said, oh, you don't, 30's the bare minimum. Okay, sure, I can agree with that. But then they go on to say, well, you don't need 60. I would argue you do, Drew, right? Every game in today's day and age is set to 60. I'll restart my computer if a game doesn't get 60, because I think it's on my end, right? I want to play at 60 frames per second. So, maybe a little clickbait, but if this game launches and it's like, oh, we'll run it 40 to 50, yeah, that's a problem, right? Like, this game needs to be 60 bare minimum, maybe 30 if it's an older system, but yeah, that's absolutely a wild statement to be making in 2025 to say, like, hey, yeah, you can do 30, right? 30, chill though. Gotta be 60. Absolutely wild to come out and say this with all the other things we've talked about this game, right? The delay. Now you're only a week behind Kingdom Come Deliverance, which that game looks amazing. So if all of a sudden that game comes out, absolutely blows up like you and I expected to, then you try and hop on Avowed and you're sitting at 30, 40 frames a second. No, you're going right back to Kingdom Come. You're saying, Steam refund me, please. I'm going to play Kingdom Come. So that's absolutely wild. This game has got to run at 60, I think, for it to even have a chance. I understand them saying the bare minimum, but they kept going. And sometimes, Drew, you just got to keep your mouth shut if you're the director and not say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is a bit of a misstep, I think, once again, in the long line of Xbox hindrance problems that just seem to keep plaguing the system. Here's why I'm thinking it's 30. The Series S continues to hold back developers, right? This is the biggest problem. They should have just dropped the X, said, hey, we have the most powerful console on the planet. Boom, there it is. That is it. Yeah, it was a lot more expensive, right? I get it. It was like 150 bucks more or something on that line, maybe 200. But dude, we're constantly now running into problems. Our next topic is another issue, right? Black Myth Wukong. There's, again, not even coming. We'll get into that in a second. But it's just one of those, the Series S is where the stopping, I think, is really kind of holding everybody back. And one of the biggest issues, the fact that you can't make 60 frames per second work now, it's just becoming such a standard. I thought right off the hop moving into this PS5, the Xbox Series generation, that we would have just let go of the 30 frames. Right, and gone straight to 60. I think that makes total sense. I think the hardware is there now, obviously incapable to handle it. Most of our games now are coming in that way. So why even do this? Here's the other thing I'm expecting. 6 months down the line, we're gonna get that Starfield latest update kind of thing where, hey, we've now updated it to 60 frames per second. Avowed's gonna get the same deal, right? We've had the update, we've heard your feedback, we don't like it either. Still, here you go, 60 frames per second. But it's gonna be 6 months down the line instead of at launch where it should have been in the first place.